Chapter 1, Lord of the People. You are listening at novelfold.audio. In the dark cave, the heavy breathing of beasts can be heard from time to time. In the open space in front of the cave, a few peasants with stone axes and picks moved forward little by little, driven by the Lord, snapped. The Lord raised the whip in his hand and hit a peasant fiercely. The whip was made of vine branches and covered with tiny barbs. When the whip went down, a bloody trail appeared on the back of the farmer. Hiss. Fang Hao took a deep breath. The burning pain woke him up instantly, suddenly turned back. Then I saw a man with a whip, looking at him sullenly. Go in quickly, don't take out the treasure chest, I will peel your skins. Snapped. The man roared and hit another whip in the air. Before Fang Hao could react, a beep suddenly sounded in his ear. Welcome to the Lord of all games. Recruit farmers, collect resources, train soldiers, expand your territory, use what you can use together, and work hard to survive. The territory is your safe place, and developing it will give you a greater chance of survival. Please be kind to the peasants and soldiers you recruit. Once your peasants and soldiers are less loyal, sabotage and defections are likely to occur. If you meet the same kind, congratulations, you caught a fat pig. Of course, if the strength is not as good as others, the fat pig is you. Countdown to novice protection, 6 days, 23 hours and 40 minutes, during this period your territory will not be attacked. For more functions, please check the Book of Lords. Finally, good luck. After listening to the prompt carefully, Fang Hao's face changed dramatically. It is acceptable to cross him, but it seems that his situation is not optimistic at this time. Dressed like a peasant, the man with a sinister face behind him was more like a lord, and there is a brown leather book hanging from his waist, which must be the Book of the Lord in the reminder. It's over, I'm a cannon fodder. Fang Hao cursed inwardly. The 5 villagers moved forward slowly. The peasants on the side were crying and begging for mercy. Lord, we are just ordinary farmers, we can't steal the treasure chest. But this kind of begging for mercy did not exchange for the sympathy of the Lord. Grass, stop talking nonsense, hurry in. The man cursed loudly. His expression was stern and impatient. The 5 villagers had no choice but to move on. Fang Hao did not speak from the beginning to the end, and did not look back. Obviously, this Lord is to use farmers to explore the way, and after his life, he can obtain resources and increase his early advantages. No matter how bad it is, it will sacrifice these farmers, and it will have no effect on him. The 5 moved forward step by step, finally got into the cave. The deeper you go, the darker the cave becomes. The beast's breathing became more and more clear, the peasant's expression became more and more frightened, and some people began to sway their legs, only leaning against the wall and barely moving forward. Slowly dragging his feet, he finally reached the depths and saw the owner of the cave. This is a brown giant tiger, black stripes, huge, far bigger than the tiger Fang Hao saw on TV, at this time. The tiger was staring at them with a pair of scarlet eyes, revealing fierceness and resentment. Old tiger, it's over. The farmers are all nervous. With their fighting power, it is absolutely impossible to defeat an adult tiger. It's hurt. Fang Hao said in a low voice. The cave was dark, and the air was filled with the smell of blood. If you looked closely, you could see that the tiger was injured, and the injury is serious. Under the abdomen, dark red blood was accumulated. Let's go past the wall, take the treasure chest and leave. One person whispered. If the treasure chest is not taken out, the Lord will obviously not give up, so they have to suppress the fear in their hearts and walk around the tiger a little bit towards the treasure chest inside. I prayed in my heart that the tiger would ignore them because of his injury. Several people moved slowly against the wall. The tiger's eyes stared at them, and with the actions of the few people, it turned a little bit. When it was discovered that these humans were trying to bypass themselves and go straight to the treasure chest, with a roar, he dragged the blood and internal organs all over the ground and rushed towards Fang Hao and the others. Fight, kill it, or we will all die. Fang Hao shouted loudly, slashing out the stone axe in his hand. For a while, the angry roar of the tiger and the screams of the villagers sounded in the cave. After a few minutes, Fang Hao came out covered in blood, stood at the entrance of the cave, and beckoned to the man who was watching from a distance. The monster inside is dead. The man shouted from a distance. Fang Hao nodded. The man's face suddenly showed an undisguised look of joy. Great, great. While muttering in his mouth, he ran towards the cave. Entering the cave, looking at the corpses of the tiger and the 4 villagers on the ground, he walked towards the inside without stopping for a moment. When he saw the wooden treasure chest, a hint of doubt appeared on his face. How did it get opened? At this time, a penetrating sense of crisis came from behind. It sounded like chopping wood. A stone axe slammed into his neck from behind. The axe blade made of stone was not sharp, but it still ripped open his flesh and blood, and even the hard neck bone was cut into most of it. You! The man's eyes widened in anger, his eyes filled with surprise and disbelief. How is this possible? How can the farmers sent by the system attack themselves? Why is this happening? Fang Hao's second axe struck out again, blood splattered, a head fell instantly and rolled aside. As a peasant, you kill the lord of the territory, and the sin value is plus 500. Fang Hao exhaled heavily. He bent down and took off the book on the other side's waist. The cover of the book is brown leather with ornate gold embossing on it. In the middle, there are 4 big characters: Book of Lords. With the touch of the Book of Lords, the prompt appears again. The initial data error of the Lord was detected, and the data was corrected. Distribute compensation, a 100-fold increase. Detect the Lord's sin value of 500, and automatically divide the evil camp undead. Done. Hearing the new prompt, Fang Hao's heart tightened. Because he killed the Lord just now, he was directly divided into the evil camp. Isn't that the enemy of the whole people? But the next moment, he calmed down again. Even if he is divided into the evil camp, he does not regret it. It is better than being a farmer in the hands of this person. Continue to check out the Book of Lords, open it, and each page has a different title. Resource Manufacturing Building Channel. The material is similar to paper, but like a tablet, you can click and get feedback. Open the first page, Resources. It shows that the current number of resources is 0. Manufacture to unlock. Hemp rope, stone axe, stone pickaxe, building to unlock, Tier 1 farmhouse. Just the next moment after opening, the first-class farmhouse instantly became a first-class cemetery. Presumably, it was because he was divided into the undead camp. Continue to the channel page, speaking permission, 10 per day. Then a piece of information quickly emerged. Has anyone left the village? Is it dangerous outside? Who will save me? There is a wild boar about the size of a tiger outside my village. If it goes on like this, the old lady will really let the pig do it. I'm going, so exciting, asking for paid content. How are your farmers? A few hyenas ran past the village gate a few minutes ago, and the villagers dare not go out to work. It's over. There is a giant python outside my village that just swallowed 2 of my villagers. A piece of information appeared. The dangers of this world are reflected between the lines. More people are trapped in the village and dare not go out. The Lord who was hacked to death by himself was considered a ruthless man and walked out with the villagers. Also try to go deep into the tiger's den and steal the treasure chest. Unfortunately, he also died in a cave. Close the chat channel. Fang Hao came to the tiger corpse again, and he hid the items in the treasure box under the huge tiger corpse. Second Order Warcraft demon spotted tiger. Is it slaughtered? Yes. The slaughter is completed, and you will get 600 meat, 45 hides, and 25 bones. After obtaining the Book of Lords, he also acquired the abilities that a lord should have. Chapter 2, Explosion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No need to do it yourself. A ray of light wrapped the tiger's body, and the decomposition was completed in the next second. Meat, fur, and animal bones are automatically separated and placed aside neatly. The animal bones are not the bones of a tiger, but more like a drop item, and just now the tiger corpse, there is only one complete white bone left. The next second, like sand and gravel eroded by wind for 100 years, it finally turned into a piece of powder. After the body of the giant tiger disappeared, exposed the props hidden under the body. These are the items in the treasure chest in the cave, which were temporarily hidden under the tiger corpse in order to trap the Lord. First-class warehouse construction drawings, hemp rope 5, the blueprint, turned into light, penetrated into the Book of Lords, included in the architecture page. He put away the stone axe and pickaxe beside the dead farmer, tied the meat and fur with hemp rope, and walked out of the cave. The most urgent task is to leave here first and go to the territory. Follow the system prompts you heard earlier. Each lord has a domain, and the domain has a 7-day novice protection period, at least to keep him safe. With the memory remaining in his brain, he quickly rushed to the territory. On the way, do not dare to stop for half a minute. Finally, he saw the thatched cottage protected by a layer of transparent light curtain. First class Lord Cabin, affiliated Lord, Fang Hao, territory. Building, first level underground cemetery. Note, territory core buildings. Materials required for upgrade, wood 800, stone 500, thatch 280, hemp rope 60. Not far from the humble house, there is also a semi-underground building, first-class underground cemetery. The upper limit of recruitment, 0/5. Available to recruit, skeleton, free. Note, you can recruit labor units and perform basic work in this building. Materials required for upgrade, wood 300, stone 400. Guys, everyone in the chat channel is talking about recruited farmers. To him, you can only summon skeletons, directly from the sun to the underworld. Fortunately, the Lord's Hall was not made underground for him, otherwise he would have slept in the coffin. Fang Hao did not delay any longer and started recruiting directly. Available to recruit, skeleton 0/5, whether to recruit. Confirm recruitment. The system beep sounded again, triggered by a hundredfold increase. Successfully recruited 505 skeletons. The ground in front of the cemetery stretched out a bone arm, and then 5 bone skeletons crawled out. Fang Hao didn't have time to react, and there was another flash of light, and countless snow-white skeletons crowded the territory. Even some of them have already stood outside the protective cover. Skull Laborer, Tier 1, Faction, Undead. Racial characteristics, Undead, Hollow Skeleton, Light Weakness. Inherent ability, Primary Collection Mastery. Undead, this unit is already dead, cannot have morale, emotions, and is immune to toxins, diseases, blindness, and mental magic. Empty skeleton, no Achilles heel, light-based weakness. Light-based magic has a 20% damage bonus to itself. Note, these skeletons are generally used as laborers and cannon fodder. Don't expect the skeleton to do anything big. At this moment, Fang Hao was stunned. It turned out that the hundredfold increase that he had obtained was used in this way. At the same time, Fang Hao felt fortunate in his heart. Fortunately, the increase in his number was skeletons, the undead troops that did not require food. Otherwise, if hundreds of peasants are recruited, the food is not something he can afford, at that time. If the peasants cannot be supplied with food, there will be sabotage or rebellion. Not sure, he was also chopped up by his peasants. The skeletons just stood there, staring blankly at him. Your job is to gather resources and food. Fang Hao threw the stone pickaxe he brought back on the ground. The nearest skeleton stepped forward and picked it up. Okay, let's go to work. Remember not to go too far. Fang Hao gave the order. The 500 skeletons turned around and crowded out of the territory. These skeletons are not necessarily powerful units, but they are better in numbers. Others can only recruit 5 farmers, and their 505 can't match them. Just kidding. When all the skeletons went out to work, Fang Hao was the only one left in the territory. Sitting on the rock, took out the Book of Lords, and opened it casually. Stone axe, 1 stone, 1 wood, 1 hemp rope. Stone pickaxe, 1 stone, 1 wood, 1 hemp rope. Hemp rope, thatch 2. Let the skeletons roll trees and stones with their hands. Obviously they can't exert their advantages, still need to make stone axes and stone pickaxes as soon as possible. After half an hour, not far away came the sound of footsteps and the sound of bones rubbing against each other. Already, skeletons have been brought back with wood and stone. Resources, wood 50, stone 40, thatch 80, meat 800, animal hide 30. The skeletons put down their supplies, turned their heads and left. Fang Hao directly opened, manufacture, consumed 2 units of thatch to make a twine, triggered by 100 times increase, successfully made hemp rope *101. I'll go, this can be 100 times better. Fang Hao exclaimed, even the production can be increased by 100 times, which is a bit too powerful. With the idea of giving it a try, consume 2 units of wood, 2 units of stone, and 2 units of hemp rope to make a stone axe and a stone pickaxe each. triggered by 100 times increase, successfully made a stone axe *101. Starting with a hundredfold increase, successfully made a stone pick *101. Really? The stone axes and pickaxes made later have also been increased. Now Fang Hao has figured out the rules. The recruited troops will trigger a hundredfold increase, and the crafting tools will also trigger, without much hesitation, make it again immediately. A total of 202 stone axes and 303 stone pickaxes were made. Quarrying takes longer, so more stone pickaxes are crafted, in an instant. The tools beside the wooden house piled up into a hill. Walking to the door of the territory, he said loudly, "If you don't have tools, come back and continue to work with tools." Skeletons don't have much intelligence, but can understand basic words. They came back in groups, took tools, and went out of the field again to continue working. Fang Hao frowned slightly as he looked at the remaining tools on the ground. "I'm going, and in just a while, I've lost more than 20. Don't get lost." The tools he made according to the number of skeletons, but there were still 28 tools left on the ground at this time. That is, more than 20 skeletons did not come back. Escape is impossible. These skeletons have no intelligence, let alone run away, then only lost, or did not hear Fang Hao shout, just thinking about whether to go out and look for it and take a look. I saw more than a dozen skeletons carrying a one-horned goat and walked in. The skeletons were a little embarrassed, with mud all over their bodies. One skeleton was missing an arm, and one had 2 broken ribs. It turned out to be hunting for himself. "Not bad, good job." Fang Hao couldn't bear to praise him when he saw the skeleton in a state of embarrassment, but the skeleton didn't respond. Boom. "Throw the goat corpse on the ground, turn around and leave." "Wait. Take the tools and go out." Fang Hao hurriedly stopped a few people. The skeleton turned back dumbly, picked up the tool, and walked out of the territory again, looking at the slender and white backs that were gradually receding. I couldn't help shaking my head. It's so cold. In the chat channel, everyone is talking about the low stamina of the peasants. After working for a while, returned to the territory to rest. Fang Hao also deliberately relooked at the attributes of the skeleton. I don't even have physical strength, and I work like I'm not tired, working non-stop. When the collected materials reach a certain amount, the materials will be sent back and go out again to continue working. A good contemporary employee, first-order monster unicorn goat, is it? Slaughtered. Slaughter. On the corpse of the one-horned goat, light flashed. Useful meats and materials have been dissected, neatly placed aside. The remaining white bones also turned into a piece of white powder. The slaughter is completed, and you will get 500 meat, 20 hides, and 15 bones. Chapter 4, Skeleton Soldiers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Through the lush woods, in front is a flat grassland, and the grass is littered with the bones of animals that have been eaten clean. More than 20 prairie wolves were lying lazily on the grass, basking in the sun. Several of them had obvious scars on their bodies, and the wounds that had not dried up dyed the grass a dark red. Behind the pack of wolves is a natural cave. It was dark inside the cave and could not see clearly. According to the previous experience of the tiger's den, there should be beasts in it, possibly a small boss. Fang Hao hid in the bushes and watched the wolves from a distance. There is an indescribable solemnity in my heart. If I don't have the ability to increase it by 100 times, like the other lords, there are only 5 peasants. In the face of these prairie wolves, can I survive? I'm afraid it's hard, really hard. Encircle, and then attack together. Said to the skeletons, but the army of skeletons was still aloof and cold, with no expression or response. Okay, let's go, kill all of them and leave none. Fang Hao said helplessly. Whoa. The army of skeletons burst out of the bushes, holding their weapons high and running towards the wolves. There is no need for any tactical arrangement. The number of skeletons is too large, and a fan shape has been formed during the run, surrounding the wolves and the cave in the middle. The skeleton army that suddenly came out also startled the wolves, but it didn't give the wolves a chance to react. They were already fighting together. No matter how fierce the prairie wolves are, they are too few in number. In the face of nearly 1,000 skeletons, it is particularly vulnerable. When they met, they were submerged by the sea of skeletons. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 prairie wolves had been hacked to death by the axe. Inside the cave, a pair of dark green eyes lit up, like a beating ghost fire. An unusually strong steppe wolf king came out angrily, standing at the entrance of the cave. He let out a thunderous roar, ow, woo. Prairie Wolf King, Tier 2, Skills, Bite, Eat. But the next moment, when he saw the dense army of skeletons in front of the cave, the roaring stopped abruptly, gabba, gabba. The skeletons turned their heads and looked at the Wolf King in unison. The next second, they all poured into the dark cave, and there was another sound of fighting and whining. After a few minutes, the skeletons that poured into the cave all came out again. Several of the skeletons carried the Wolf King's body and walked out of the wooden treasure chest. Boom. With a dull sound, he threw the treasure chest directly in front of Fang Hao. Aren't you stupid? Knowing that the treasure chest was taken out and sent to Fang Hao, it seemed a little wise, but a few skeletons carrying treasure chests turned around and left, leaving him with the back of his head. Open the treasure chest. Acquisition. Blueprint of first-level barracks, blueprint of ordinary wooden shield, white. The two blueprints turned into a ray of light and entered the Book of Lords. Although there are very few, they are all ordinary drawings, but Fang Hao still couldn't hide the joy in his heart. The blueprint for the barracks is available. As long as it is built, soldiers can be recruited, thereby increasing your own safety. Okay, take all the tools that fell, and all these wolf corpses, let's go back to the territory. Fang Hao greeted loudly. The skeletons formed a group of two, raised the wolf corpse high, and followed Fang Hao to the territory. Return to the territory. Skeletons tossed surplus tools into warehouses, wolf carcasses on clearings, turn around and go out to work. Although the skeletons are not very intelligent, it is really good that they are diligent and only work, not eating or drinking. First Order Warcraft Prairie Wolf *24, is it slaughtered? Confirm slaughter. The slaughter is completed, and the meat is 9,600, the hide is 480, and the bone is 360. Second Order Warcraft Prairie Wolf King, is it slaughtered? Fang Hao continued to click confirm. The slaughter is completed, and you will get 800 meat, 50 hides, and 40 bones. After the slaughter was completed, the corpses piled on the open ground turned into rays of light and flew into the warehouse. In the warehouse, the amount of meat stored exceeds several other resources. Even if I could eat it myself, I wouldn't be able to eat so much meat. The solution to the wolf corpse problem is to build a barracks. Blueprint of the first-level barracks. Bone burial ground. The required resources are 300 for wood, 500 for stone, and 60 for hemp rope. Undead camp buildings do not consume much wood. The consumption of stone is more. The location is selected. Build barracks directly. The light flickered, and the barracks burial ground had been built. First-class burial ground, available to recruit, skeleton soldiers. Skull soldiers, bone 300. Note, you can recruit troops of your own faction in this building. Raising the building level can unlock new soldier types and higher ranks of troops. Materials required for upgrading: wood 500, stone 720, leather 80, hemp rope 240, shadow stone 5. The burial ground is larger than the underground cemetery. Underground cemetery, like a cemetery, the burial ground is more like a mass burial mound. The recruitment conditions actually required 300 animal bones. If it hadn't just killed the wolves, the number of bones would not have been enough. Similarly, someone in the channel got a prop called Soul Crystal. It is difficult to obtain. It is a prop for summoning troops, works the same as your own white bones. Recruit directly, anyway. Sooner or later, you have to recruit them. If you come out early and work early, you can develop your territory faster. Triggered by 100 times increase, successfully recruited 101 skeleton soldiers. A burly skeleton climbed out from under the barracks. At the same time, rays of light descended from all around, and it was the remaining 100 skeleton soldiers who were augmented. Skull soldiers, First Order, Faction, Undead. Racial characteristics: Undead, hollow skeleton, light weakness. Skill: Shield Strike. Inherent ability: primary combat proficiency, primary swordsmanship proficiency, primary shield proficiency. Undead: this unit is already dead, cannot have morale, emotions, and is immune to toxins, diseases, blindness, and mental magic. Empty skeleton, no Achilles heel, light-based weakness. Light-based magic has a 20% damage bonus to itself. Shield Strike: equipped with a shield, slam the enemy with a shield, causing bludgeoning damage and having a chance to stun the target. Note: the skeleton soldiers who took up their weapons held high their jagged bone arms. They were beginning to fight, but they were still fragile, and it was difficult to resist the continuous attack of the enemy. The skeleton soldiers are slightly taller than the labor skeletons, and they are not completely bare bones. Instead, there were torn cloth shirts hanging from the upper body, and the breeze blew through, like a pile of mop strips, dancing with the wind. To be frank, the newly added combat arms did not bring too many surprises to Fang Hao. The first three abilities are the same as the labor skeleton, and the last one has a shield skill. Requires a shield to be equipped to be effective. By the way, the weapon blueprints obtained today are shields. Immediately open the crafting page of the Book of Lords. Wooden shield, wood 3, hemp rope 2. Manufacture. Triggered by 100 times increase, successfully made a wooden shield *101. A pile of wooden shields immediately appeared beside him. Okay, everyone pick up the wooden shield and the stone axe. Fang Hao shouted. The skeleton soldiers stepped forward, each with equipment in their hands. Your mission is to patrol the vicinity of the territory, protect the labor skeletons to work normally, and then collect the prey. Fang Hao pointed. After receiving the order, the skeleton soldiers also turned and left. The territory is still in the novice protection stage. As long as you are in the territory, you will not be attacked by any beasts or enemies, so, as long as you get up, there is no danger. On the contrary, those labor skeletons need some protection to prevent wild beasts from attacking again, interfere with normal work. After explaining everything, it was getting late. The rumbling of his stomach reminded him that he was still a person. I haven't eaten for a day. There are flint and steel in the Lord's cabin, a bonfire is lit, and the meat is chopped into pieces with a stone axe, strung with wooden sticks, and roasted on the fire. Immediately, the aroma of grilled meat is released. While waiting for the barbecue to be fully cooked, I opened the chat channel board. Without the cell phone, it was the only pastime. Who has food? I'm hungry and weak. Please, give me something to eat. I'm so hungry, and I don't dare to go out. Who can help me? Who has a way to go back? 5 million, can go back and transfer it to you immediately. Wake up upstairs and accept the reality earlier. In exchange for food, the loyalty of farmers has dropped to a low level. If I don't give food, I'm afraid they will eat me. Whoever has food will exchange materials for food. Being for food online, I am the school flower of the film school. Can you exchange items? There is indeed a bit of excess food behind him. Instead of waiting to rot, it is better to exchange some food that you need. Do it when you think of it. After researching it, I found out how to exchange items on the Book of Lords. Trader, Fang Hao. Registered items, meat. Quantity, 1000 units. Required for 1 unit, 50 units of wood, 40 units of stone, 5 units of iron or any kind. Note: if you have special items, you can privately chat to increase the amount of food. As soon as the information was released, the chat channel exploded in an instant. I'm sorry, someone has put meat on the shelves, and it's still 1000 units. The boss is awesome. Is there a pendant on the boss's leg? Fang Hao. Is it the first Fang Hao to upgrade the main city? I'm going, really. Damn it, Fang Hao, Tianhu, start the game. It's too dark. 1 unit of meat requires so many supplies. Are you still human? Big brother, I have a golden tooth. Is it a special resource? If you want it, I will break it off immediately and give it to you. Keep the yellow-toothed mosquito upstairs, Mr. Fang Hao. I have a gold chain here, and I will exchange you 2 units of food. Keep your golden chain and hang yourself. Chapter 5, Shadow Stone. You are listening at novelfold.audio. I got it, and I can finally eat. I'm going. How come it's not so fast? I didn't grab it. Brother, let's put some on the shelves. I just didn't grab it. The meat that Fang Hao put on the shelves decreased at a speed visible to the naked eye, and 1000 units of meat were sold out in less than 2 minutes. Immediately afterwards, Fang Hao's private chat came with a bunch of news. Brother, I didn't grab it just now. I have wood, can I still exchange it? I'm starving to death, brother, saving a life is better than building a 7-level pagoda. Brother Fang Hao, I'm so hungry. They took some very private photos. Can I exchange some food with you? Fang Hao directly ignored the person who was crying and planning to prostitute for nothing. Off-territory hunting does present dangers, but the number of exchange materials he said is definitely not much. It can even be said that everyone can exchange it, it's just that there are too many people passing through together, and there is no direct way to obtain food in the initial territory. Food has become the scarcest resource, on the contrary, water is not in short supply. Many territories have water sources near them, and a river, or freshwater lake, will suffice for you to sell. No matter how much water you sell, it is impossible to sell the river dry, so water is not expensive and many people have it for sale. After all, wood and stone can be collected slowly, and there will never be a shortage, but if you don't eat, you won't feel so good. Fang Hao thought about it for a while, and put another 500 units of meat on the shelves, still the same amount of resources in exchange. Channel Friars again. I'm grass, hurry up and grab it. It's really on the shelves. Why is there so much meat? Isn't it a plug-in? How many times have I said it? This is reality, not a game. The big brother asks to fly, and the younger brother is willing to help the dog and horse. Does handsome Fang Hao lack a girlfriend? When you are away from home, many friends will help you at critical times, and others can help you a few times. I mean, there's something upstairs. Watching the channel keep scrolling, netizens made all kinds of rants. Fang Hao finally knew how much meat was in short supply. The vast majority of people currently do not have the ability to go out of their own territory and hunt wild beasts. Going out, luckily killed the beast and got food, also just hunt one. They may not be willing to sell them, but try to save them for their own and farmers' consumption. On the contrary, it was Fang Hao who put 1,500 units of meat on the shelves one after another. It proves that there is still a lot of stock left. The 500 units of meat that just hit the shelves also sold out quickly. 2 trades gave him a total of 60,000 units of wood, 11,920 units of stone, and 20 units of iron. Fang Hao was a little surprised by this number. The exchanged materials filled the warehouse again, as well as all the open spaces in the territory. There is only a small road in the middle, for myself and the skeleton to pass normally. Ding. The private message rang. Brother, you can see how much meat can be exchanged for this. There are not many resources, so take care of it in the early stage. Then, a drawing was sent. Simple leather armor drawing, white, type, equipment, materials, 2 animal skins, 2 hemp ropes. Equipment blueprints. This person's life is too good, and the equipment blueprint appeared at this time. Although it is white, it is exactly what is needed in the early stage. Why don't you use it yourself? Fang Hao was a little curious. Soon, the other party replied, a little helpless in his tone. There is no way. The materials to upgrade the building are gone, and the farmers and I need food again, so we can only sell it first. Can, white quality, I'll give you 50 units of meat. Fang Hao replied. Okay, thank you brother, I will immediately designate the transaction. The other party repeatedly thanked. It can be said that Fang Hao did not take advantage of the danger. When food was in short supply, Fang Hao offered 10 units, and the other party had to change it. Lords need to eat, and peasants also need to eat, but Fang Hao still offered 50 units, which is a generous offer. Soon, in the designated transaction column, equipment blueprints appeared. And Fang Hao also put the promised 50 units of meat on it. When the blueprints are in hand, they are immediately recorded in the Book of Lords. There was a mushy smell from the barbecue on the grill, so Fang Hao turned off the channel and concentrated on eating. If the meat is roasted further, it will become coke. After I was full, I thought about it and decided to make the leather armor first. There is not necessarily any danger at night. Reopen the Book of Lords. Simple leather armor, animal hide 2, hemp rope 2. Manufacture. Triggered by 100 times increase, successfully made simple leather armor 101. Simple leather armor, white, category, chest armor, defense, level 1 defense, note, simple leather armor made of leather hemp rope can provide certain defense. Not bad. Of course, it can't be too demanding. wear one for yourself and distribute the rest to the skeleton soldiers first. All the snow-white skeletons, wearing leather armor, still look a bit like that. After everything was done, it was too late. Fang Hao brought a few piles of thatch from the warehouse and spread them in the Lord's wooden house, closed the door and fall asleep, silent all night. Although I slept soundly, I still woke up in the morning with back pain. The kidney seems to be missing. For sleeping thatch, the body showed discomfort. Walking out of the hall, the labor skeletons are still working diligently, as if they are not tired. Simply do some exercise, light the bonfire that was extinguished yesterday and continue the barbecue for breakfast. While flipping the barbecue, 2,000 units of barbecue were put on the shelf, and the exchange requirements were still the same as yesterday. Fang Hao is on the shelves, hurry up and grab it. Fang Hao, can you share? How did you get so much food? Everyone has come from across the country, so we need to help together. I suspect that where he was born, there should be many grass animals nearby. Grass-type animals, I only serve teddy, everything else is garbage. Boss Fang Hao, I'm at sea, can I exchange fish for some meat with you? It seems that many people are squatting and waiting for Fang Hao. As soon as the meat was put on the shelves, it was looted for a while, more intense and faster than yesterday. Fang Hao's name seems to have been deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. The meat that is difficult for others to get, in Fang Hao's place, is sold out for thousands. While watching the crowd chatting, he finished his own breakfast. Look at the materials piled up all over the territory. Fang Hao got up and it was time for him to work. Materials required to upgrade the secondary warehouse, 750 for wood, 450 for stone, 200 for thatch, and 100 for hemp rope. Just click on Upgrade Repository. With the flash of light, the warehouse was successfully upgraded to the second level. It has been upgraded from a simple grass hut to a wooden hut that occupies a large area, which can store more materials and better preservation. Secondary warehouse. Storage, 30,000/30,000. Note, the resources in the warehouse will be better preserved, and the storage of food is not easy to spoil. The higher the warehouse level, the more resources that can be saved, and the better the effect. Materials required for upgrading, 1,200 wood, 950 stone, 320 thatch, 220 hemp rope, and 100 leather. The next level of warehouse, in addition to material additions. Thatch was replaced with leather. I want to continue to upgrade the third level warehouse, but I am prompted. The Lord's cabin needs to reach the third level. Just when Fang Hao planned to upgrade the Lord's hall, a notification for private chat is sent from the Book of Lords. Open the Book of Lords. Mr. Fang Hao, I have a special ore here, and I want to exchange some meat with you. The name is quite nice, it's Dong Jiayue. Fang Hao immediately replied, of course. Ore is also a resource. At present, special ores are still scarce and hard to find. Materials, shadow stone. Type, ore. Note, rare ores are required for the construction of undead camp buildings. Seeing the attributes, Fang Hao's eyes lit up. The shadow stone has appeared in the upgrade of the undead building. I am also thinking about how to get the shadow stone, and I often pay attention to the chat channel, see if anyone sells it. Unexpectedly, someone took the initiative to send it to the door. Chapter 6, Kobold Slinger. You are listening at novelfold.audio. It doesn't seem to work, right? Fang Hao replied, conceal it appropriately. The chat between the two suddenly stopped for a few seconds. Dong Jiayue replied, I know, but... Mr. Fang Hao, I really need food here. Please see if you can change it a little less. Shadowstones are useless against the human alignment, even if it is a scarce resource. In the hands of the human camp, it is no different from ordinary stones. It's convenient to tell me, how did you get this shadow stone? Fang Hao asked. He was really curious as to how this shadow stone was obtained. Of course it's convenient. Near my territory, I found an underground tomb, and I picked it up inside. Dong Jiayue replied. Fang Hao touched his chin, thinking in his mind, does this shadow stone have to be obtained in the cemetery? Not only do you want to build undead buildings, but also tombs. Big brother, are you still there? It's okay to change less food. Dong Jiayue thought that Fang Hao didn't want to change, and hurriedly said. Just call my name. In this way, I will give you 30 units of meat in exchange for one. If you get it later, it will still be exchanged at the same price. Fang Hao gave his quotation. He had no shortage of food, and the Shadow Stone was exactly what he needed. Thank you Fang Hao, then I will put the Shadow Stone on the shelves. It is good. Soon, a Shadow Stone appeared in the designated trading area, but only one. Immediately trade the opponent's 30 units of meat. The Shadow Stone is available. After completing the transaction, Fang Hao continued to upgrade the building. The number of labor skeletons, the collection speed day and night, is also quite fast, enough for him to upgrade the building. Materials required for the 3rd level Lord's Log House. Wood 1200, stone 600, thatch 300, leather 120, hemp rope 50. Confirm the upgrade. The light flickered. The Lord's Hall of the wooden house has been expanded again, and its area has become larger, more refined and sturdy. Tier 3 Lord's Chalet, affiliated Lord, Fang Hao. There are buildings, a 2nd level underground cemetery, a 2nd level warehouse, and a 1st level bone burial place. Note, Territory Core Buildings. Materials required for upgrading: wood 2200, stone 1000, stone brick 200, leather 240, hemp rope 180. When the 4th level was upgraded, a new material, stone brick, appeared. There is currently no way to get it. Wait for a while. There is no sound of getting rewards for upgrading the main city for the first time. It was a pity in my heart, so I continued to check other buildings in the territory. Coverage and Boneyard are still unable to be constructed due to lack of shadow stones. But it can be upgraded to the 3rd level warehouse. 3rd level warehouse, 1200 for wood, 950 for stone, 320 for thatch, 100 for leather, and 220 for hemp rope. OK to upgrade. The warehouse was successfully upgraded to level 3, 3rd level warehouse. Storage, 50,000/50,000. Note, the resources in the warehouse will be better preserved, and the storage of food is not easy to spoil. The higher the warehouse level, the more resources that can be saved, and the better the effect. Materials required for upgrading: wood 2000, stone 1500, stone brick 400, leather 300, hemp rope 220. The total amount of storage has increased to 50,000. However, the total amount of resources in the territory always exceeds the storage capacity of the warehouse. The warehouse is saturated, and the open space in the territory is also filled with various resources. Upgrade the building. Fang Hao called back all the skeleton soldiers again. It's time to explore the map around the territory. Tighten the leather armor and pick up a stone axe. Other lords began to explore the map around the territory, and he naturally couldn't limit it to the present. Just like Dong Jiayue, who traded shadow stones with herself, just explored a cemetery nearby and you can get a shadow stone. Just a pity, except for himself, other skeletons in the territory do not have the ability to explore and draw maps. You can only explore on your own. Of course, compared to other lords, his own troops clearly have an advantage. The danger is also less. Looking at the skeleton soldiers gathered around him, he said, "Follow me out. Your mission is to protect me." The skeleton soldiers didn't respond, holding wooden shields and stone axes, and stood by in a daze. "Let's go." Fang Hao took the lead and walked out of the protective cover. A lot of woods in front of the territory have been vacated. The labor skeletons are still unaware of the fruits of their exhaustion. Leading a group of skeleton soldiers through the dense woods, it is a plain, and a clear stream flows slowly. Fang Hao brought a wooden board and carved the location of the stream. It was closer than where I collected water myself. And I didn't find any danger. It's just that I didn't bring any utensils when I came out. Or can I pack some and let the skeleton take it back to the territory? Go up the stream. Fang Hao's expression suddenly changed. Take 2 steps forward and squat down to check the marks on the ground. Rut. The ground on the stream is soft, and the wheel indentations left on it can be clearly seen. Lord? Or other forces? Fang Hao looked at the car mark and said in a low voice. Then, he greeted the skeleton soldiers and chased them all the way in the direction of the rut. Near the territory, a new neighbor suddenly appeared. It makes people curious and worried that the other party is in danger. Soon, Fang Hao saw the owner who left the rut. It is a humanoid creature with a huge dog head and a hunched body. On the flatbed are bloody animal carcasses. Kobold Slinger, Tier 2, Skill, Sling. The Kobold Slinger is not tall, about 1 meter 2 or 3. The skin is gray as a shedding dog. His own team, with hundreds of skeletons, also attracted the attention of the other party. After a short period of stunned, he let out a harsh howl, turned the stone rope, and launched an attack. Bang bang bang. Shirsoa seems to be low level, but its power is not low. It roared out and hit the wooden shield with a loud noise. The skeleton soldiers who were charging in the first row were beaten up and down. Attack, kill them. Fang Hao ordered. Whoa. Hundreds of skeleton soldiers, holding wooden shields, began to run, killing the kobolds. There is a huge disparity between the two sides. Even though Shirsoa's attack was not weak, the wooden shields and leather armor of the skeleton soldiers provided great protection. No substantial damage can be caused. A dense army of bone skeletons approached quickly. The number of kobolds is only more than 20. When the skeleton soldiers are close behind, it is difficult to make an effective counterattack. Holding a short dagger, shouting and waving, facing the crowd of skeleton soldiers, it is really powerless. A few howls sounded, and all died under the shield and the axe. After everything was calm, Fang Hao stepped forward. Look at the dead bodies on the ground, and a few scattered skeletons. Clean up the battlefield. Fang Hao ordered. The skeletons began to collect the equipment dropped by the dog-head thrower, and his eyes fell on the dead kobold's body. I saw white bones appearing next to the kobold's corpse, which looked like the vertebrae of living things. Crawling spine. Type, consumables, description, sacrifice of the undead family, used for recruiting undead troops. Chapter 7, The Creeping Spine. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Seeing this, you already know the origin and use of the wriggling spine. In the chat channel, someone mentioned it. Building a barracks is not an unlimited recruitment of troops. The human faction will drop a consumable called soul crystal, which is a necessary material for recruiting troops. Just like Fang Hao summoning skeleton soldiers, he needs 300 animal bones. However, animal bones are slaughtering materials that can be used to recruit undead troops, but they are not the main recruitment supplies for the undead camp, and are more like a temporary substitute. Wriggling spine is the main recruiting material for the undead tribe, and it has the same function as the soul crystal. Skeleton soldiers clean the battlefield fairly quickly. Materials have been collected. Harvest: 21 iron daggers, 8 wriggling spines, 1 flatbed, 2 unicorn sheep carcasses, and 1 giant horned deer carcass. There are more than 20 kobolds, but there are only 8 wriggling spines that have fallen. It seems that there is a certain chance of falling. Not every corpse will have it. Fang Hao did not make the next move, but fell into thinking, obviously there is a kobold stronghold nearby, or camp, otherwise there will be no hunting kobold team. Detecting the opponent's location and military strength has become a crucial thing. Fang Hao picked up an iron dagger and pinned it to his waist. Iron dagger. White. Category, dagger, attribute, first order damage. Description: the wooden handle can be used as a weapon by inserting an iron piece. Is it really a method that came out of your brain? Change your weapons. Fang Hao picked out 20 uninjured soldiers and replaced the stone axe in his hand. The quality of the stone axe is also white, but the effect is not the same. Although the stone axe has damage, it does not reach the first order damage, and its main function is to cut wood. In combat, the damage is not as good as the iron dagger. Hearing Fang Hao's order, 20 soldiers immediately came up and changed their weapons. Okay, follow me. Fang Hao continued. Now is not the time to go back. To find out the location and number of kobold camps, waiting for the opponent to attack him, he is more willing to find out the situation and be ready to take the initiative to attack. The location of the opponent is not difficult to find, except for the rut marks left on the ground. In the dense woods, you can also see a paved road, passing through the deepest part of the woods. You will see a defensive wall surrounded by logs and a towering sentry tower. There is no significant difference from the human village. Many kobolds come and go, logging and quarrying, collecting various basic resources. If not, there is no protective cover. Fang Hao will think that this is also a human territory with a special race. Unfortunately, this is not. Other kobold hunting teams also came back, and in addition to the corpses of beasts, there were also human beings on the flatbed. Fang Hao roughly calculated that there were about 500 or 600 people in this camp. In addition to the large number of stone throwers, there are also kobold warriors with iron knives and kobold warriors with iron axes. Let's go back. Fang Hao said, and slowly retreated with the soldiers. This camp must be removed, but not now, to prepare enough manpower, can launch an attack, return to the outside of the woods, and return to the territory with the flatbed truck and food that were captured earlier. When we returned to the territory, the sun was just right. You continue to patrol. Fang Hao said, pushing the flatbed into the protective cover. The skeleton soldiers returned to their posts again, patrolling to protect the labor skeletons from beasts. Of course, it would also be good to have beasts to increase food reserves. First order monster unicorn sheep *2. First order spotted deer, slaughtered. Slaughter. The slaughter is completed, and the meat is 1200, the hide is 90, and the bone is 60. In addition to getting the wriggling spine, the trolley and meat are also good harvests today. The most important thing is to discover the kobold camp near the territory. Thinking of the large number of kobolds so close to his territory, he unconsciously became nervous. This is not a game, this is reality. People die every day from various causes. He was not a hesitant, and immediately came to the barracks. First-class burial ground, available to recruit, skeleton soldiers, skull soldiers. Creeping spine 1. Note, you can recruit troops of your own faction in this building. Raising the building level can unlock new soldier types and higher ranks of troops. Materials required for upgrading: wood 500, stone 720, leather 80, hemp rope 240, shadow stone 5. Before recruiting skeleton soldiers, you need 300 animal bones. Only one wriggling spine is needed now. In other words, for a wriggling spine, one is worth 300. Recruitable, skeleton soldiers, consumption, creeping spine 8, is it recruiting? Confirm recruitment. The system beep sounded again, triggered by a hundredfold increase. Successfully recruited 808 skeleton soldiers. Swish swish. In addition to the place where the bones were buried, the 8 skeleton soldiers who climbed out, the territory is flashing with light, filled up all the camps. Fang Hao has seen this kind of scene a lot, so it's nothing unusual. Proceed to build 808 wooden shields and 808 stone axes and give them to them. You guys go hunting, look for food, and the rest go to carry the supplies, and transport the resources collected by the labor skeletons to the warehouse. Fang Hao gave an order. A group of skeleton soldiers, after receiving the order, turned rigidly and walked out of the territory to complete their tasks. After explaining, light the extinguished fire, use the iron dagger to start slicing the meat, and prepare the roast. He had made up his mind to get rid of the kobold camp. Before that, settle for lunch, eat and drink well. Compared with yesterday, the pieces of meat chopped with a stone axe and the pieces of meat cut with a dagger are more suitable for barbecue, just missing seasoning, and happy water. Otherwise you will be happier. Soon, the aroma of meat came out. Whet your appetite, enjoy the tender roasted meat. Open the chat channel and see what everyone is talking about. Which of you has soul crystals? There are undead outside my territory, and resources are exchanged for soul crystals. I am here too. A farmer was killed by something, and the rest of the farmers were afraid to go out to work. Resources are exchanged for weapons. Are there any weapons for sale? Everyone is a stone tool. Where is the weapon? I am Ren Yongning. Whoever can take me home, I will let him be the CEO of the company. I haven't heard of it. Who are you? The CEO of the noodle shop. I'm so hungry. Mr. Fang Hao doesn't put food on the shelves at noon. The farmers and I have saved a lot of resources and are waiting for food. Call Fang Hao. Call together. Same call. Fang Hao looked at the channel, swiping the screen, and smiled bitterly. The essence of human beings is indeed repetition. Even if the opportunity to speak is very valuable, it should be used for repetition. Today is the second day of the crowd crossing. It can be seen from the speech that there are differences in the development of the territory. Most people are still in the initial stage, logging and quarrying, and collecting resources. Some people also set up barracks because of adventures or personal abilities, begin to realize the importance of soul crystals. Humans can recruit troops in the barracks only if they have soul crystals, but whether it is recruiting troops, or only farmers, food is just needed. Unable to provide sufficient food, the territorial people will reduce their loyalty, and even defect in severe cases. The greater the population of the territory, the greater the demand for food, so food is a very popular item right now. Thinking of this, Fang Hao directly put 2,000 units of food on the shelves. At the same time, all the discussions in the channel came to an abrupt end. After 2 seconds of stagnation, there was an exclamation. The boss has put food on the shelves. Who said that something happened to the boss and his mouth is so stinky? Fang Hao is awesome. Fang Hao is awesome. Chapter 8, Bones and Dogs. You are listening at novelfold.audio. In exclamation, the 2,000 units of meat are quickly disappearing, and they are all sold out in the blink of an eye, and Fang Hao also exchanged for a large number of materials. The materials piled up in the territory are growing rapidly like a mountain. Too many regional channels. Even if it is 2,000 units of meat, it is still not enough for people to share. The channel has not been grabbed again. Can you put some news on the shelves? Ding! Private chat rang. When I opened it, it was the girl who sold her shadow stone, Dong Jiayue. Is brother Fang Hao here? Dong Jiayue asked directly. Fang Hao replied immediately, yes. Brother Fang Hao, I got 2 more shadow stones, and I want to exchange some food with you. Dong Jiayue said. In the morning, the two completed a shadow stone transaction. A shadow stone exchanged 30 units of food from Fang Hao. Shadow stone is a special material for undead camp buildings. It can be said that it cannot be used or sold in the human camp. Being able to exchange 30 units has exceeded Dong Jiayue's expectations. Even after the first transaction was completed, she cheered for a long time. Okay, you can put it on the shelves, and I'll take a picture. Fang Hao said. Okay, thank you Fang Hao. Dong Jiayue said, and immediately made a designated transaction for the 2 shadow stones. Fang Hao also truthfully took out 60 units of meat and bought it. After the deal was done, both were happy. Fang Hao got special materials for the faction, and Dong Jiayue could eat 60 meat for several days. It can even be exchanged for other resources. If there is any kind of resource that can be used as transaction currency now, it must be meat. Busy everything. Fang Hao took 3 or 2 mouthfuls and stuffed the rest of the barbecue into his mouth. After solving the problem of satiety, I immediately came to the underground cemetery, secondary underground cemetery. The upper limit of recruitment, 10 out of 10, available to recruit, skeleton, free, note, you can recruit labor units and perform basic work in this building. Materials required for the upgrade, wood 600, stone 800, hemp rope 120, shadow stone 2. There was no upgrade before, it's the lack of shadow stone, plus the one just traded with Dong Jiayue. Now there are exactly 3 shadow stones in hand, which are sufficient for upgrading materials. Upgrade. The light flickered, and the catacombs were upgraded. Level 3 underground cemetery, the upper limit of recruitment, 10/20. Available to recruit, skeleton, free, note, you can recruit labor units and perform basic work in this building. Materials required for upgrading, wood 1200, stone 1600, leather 100, hemp rope 240, shadow stone 5. After upgrade, the upper limit that can be recruited has also changed from 10 to 20. Fang Hao also immediately recruited, can be recruited, skeleton 10, whether to recruit. Confirm recruitment. The system beep sounded again, triggered by 100 times increase, successfully recruited 1010 skeletons. Intensive light lit up, and 1010 skeletons were crowded around. 10 sets of stone axes and pickaxes were again made and distributed to newly recruited skeletons. Then make the leather armor and wooden shield, triggered by 100 times increase, successfully made simple leather armor 30/30. The 100-fold increase started, and the wooden shield 20/20 was successfully made. Currently, the number of labor skeletons was around 2,000, of which several were lost in the beast attack. The number of skeleton soldiers is 900. It is the main fighting force in the territory. Say hello to all the skeletons working out of the house. Whether it is a skeleton soldier or a labor skeleton, they are all equipped with simple leather armor and wooden shield. As for the weapons, except for the 20 soldiers who were equipped with iron daggers, the rest were all unified stone axes. The Kobold camp must be taken as soon as possible. Whether it is eliminating hidden dangers or strengthening himself, the sooner it is, the better it will be for him. Fang Hao stood on a boulder and looked at the huge sea of skeletons below. Bone and dog have been inseparable since ancient times. Today I will lead you to destroy the Kobold camp and regain the dignity of our undead. Fang Hao raised his arms and shouted with a high expression, but it was still quiet all around. The skeletons stared at him blankly, like an upright terracotta army, without any movement. Well, I just want to tell you that this battle is not just for me. Fang Hao jumped off the boulder and muttered, sooner or later, you will be depressed. Other lords can also chat with farmers. He lives here every day with a bunch of skeletons. It was only the second day, and he felt a little autistic, even claiming to have become, we are dead, kill yourself sooner or later. Okay, let's go. Fang Hao greeted, the team set off in a mighty manner, and the skeletons holding weapons surrounded Fang Hao in the middle, play a certain protective role. Even if danger occurs, it is not easy to attack yourself. The large group continued in the direction of the Kobold camp. During the morning exploration, Fang Hao had already made a rough map. In addition, the distance is not far, and it is not difficult to find, and soon you can see the still busy Kobold camp from a distance. Squat down, all squat down. Fang Hao half squatted, letting the bushes hide everyone. The skeletons followed suit, squatting down and moving forward. Conceal your body strength. It's not that I want to take a sneak attack, but I don't have a long-range attacking unit on my side, so I try to shorten the attack distance as much as possible, reduce casualties during the attack. Fang Hao led the skeleton army to approach quickly, even if he squatted down and walked slowly. The large bushes and grasses shook, and there was a lot of noise. It instantly attracted the attention of the logging kobold not far away, staring with big eyes. He looked curiously at the location of Fang Hao and the others. Go, take the camp. Fang Hao gave the order. Whoa whoa whoa. The skeletons got the order, rushed out of the bushes in an instant, and killed in the direction of the camp. Woo. A horn was blown in the kobold camp, and the village gate began to slowly close in the face of the attack of the skeleton army. Let the kobolds who didn't return scream. It was never opened, and the skeleton axe that rushed over was chopped into meat. In the face of the attack of the sea of skeletons, the camp instantly responded and defended. The kobold throwing pitcher climbed the log defensive wall and began to swing the stone rope and throw it. Shirsua's strength is not bad, on wooden shields and leather armor. It can also resist some damage. However, when it hits the skeleton of the laborer skeleton, cracks will appear in the hit part and it will break directly. Fang Hao watched from a distance. Hate your own arms, no long-range weapons. Fortunately, it still has an absolute advantage in number, and the army of skeletons has already attacked the wall at this moment, relying on each other's bodies. They successfully climbed the 3-meter-high log defensive wall like a stack of arhats. Seeing this scene reminded Fang Hao of a movie he had seen, a scene from World War Z, and its resemblance. Chapter 9, Come Home with a Reward. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Kobolds are not a powerful race. In the past battles, the advantage of quantity was also used, as well as some simple strategies. The fighting style is also very simple. Today, when I meet a larger army of undead, I feel powerless. The skeletons used the method of stacking arhats to attack the city wall, and the village gate was also chopped down and crashed to the ground. The army of skeletons poured into the camp like a flood of open gates, and the two sides thoroughly fought hand to hand. Combat. The troops in the kobold camp did not cooperate at all. Each kills the target next to him. Soon, all the kobolds were completely drowned under the attack of the skeletons who were not afraid of death. When the camp was quiet again and the skeletons stood still and stood by, Fang Hao just walked over from a distance, looking at the messy battlefield. He ordered, clean up the battlefield and collect all the equipment and resources. The still skeletons moved again and began to collect the equipment dropped on the ground. It stands to reason that there should be bosses in the camp, that is, the village chief, the patriarch, etc. But now that the enemies are all chopped into mud, it is difficult to distinguish who is the boss and who is the younger brother. Before death, all living beings are equal. The skeletons were busy cleaning the battlefield. Fang Hao took more than a dozen skeleton soldiers into the tribe's largest wooden house. This should be the patriarch's room, or it should be a building like the council hall. The furniture is dressed up, revealing a very wild style. Take this bearskin rug back, move out the tables and chairs first, and take them with you later. Fang Hao pointed in the hall. The skeletons got into action, moving everything out the door. Take a moment to pack it all away. No way, the territory is too poor. The only furniture is the thatched pile, where he sleeps. At the back of the hall, there is another room. Pushing the door and entering, he saw a large bed with a fur quilt in the room. In the corner of the bedroom, there is also a black treasure chest with metallic luster. Yeah. Fang Hao clenched his fist. He has a bed. As for the kobold used to say, he doesn't care either. The current conditions are tough and it's not allowed to pick and choose, and wait until you go back and wash the fur quilt on the bed well. In short, finally cannot sleep on the thatched pile. Look at the treasure chest again. The treasure chest in front of you is different from the previous wooden treasure chest. It can be seen that the higher level also means that the rewards inside are more generous. Move the wooden bed and fur quilt out, be careful not to break it. The skeletons began to carry the wooden beds again. Fang Hao came to the treasure chest, rubbed his hands, prayed for Ocean to possess the body, and opened the treasure chest. Obtain, market building blueprints, cart production blueprints, iron axe production blueprints, war coin plus 20. Rich. As rich as expected, he has opened 2 wooden treasure chests, and the rewards are basically 2 common props. This black iron treasure chest has 3 drawings, and they are all practical. I got 20 war coins, and this camp was quite rich. Get the gear and get out of the building. In the open space in the center of the camp, the collected materials piled up into a hill. Fang Hao did not stop and continued to come to the warehouse. In the warehouse, various materials, wood, stone, meat, animal skins, and some weapons and tools are stacked. Move out the materials here too. Fang Hao directed the transportation, while he continued to search for other materials. Apart from the place where the patriarch lived, the rooms of ordinary kobolds were very simple. It's not quite right to call it a house, it's better to call it a shack, or a simple room. Sweep around, there is nothing to loot. Go back to the clearing. Fang Hao began to count the supplies. Resources: 122 creeping spines, 5,520 wood units, 3,220 stone units, 47 iron units, 3,225 meat units, 144 animal hides, and 20 war coins. Equipment: 120 iron daggers, 72 single-edged knives, 45 battle axes, and 12 flatbed trucks. Furniture: 1 large iron pot, 1 solid wood table, 6 chairs, 1 double bed, 1 bearskin rug, 1 set of animal skin quilt, 12 wooden ladders. Blueprints: market building blueprints, cart production blueprints, iron axe production blueprints. Fang Hao counted. A smile gradually appeared on his face. Sure enough, plundering is the fastest way to develop. The harvest of capturing the camp here is enough for him to develop for a long time. Of course, their own casualties are not small. At least a third of the troops were lost, but it's not a big problem. Labor skeletons can be summoned for free, but there is a cooldown. Not to mention the skeleton soldiers. The wriggling backbone harvested 122 pieces. As long as he wanted to, the level could be increased by 100 times and recruited 10,000 troops, no matter what. Okay, start loading the car. Got 12 flatbed trucks, just used to transport these things. It can be more convenient, but he still underestimated the number of looted materials, and the 12 trolleys could not be loaded. I had to open the production column and start making carts anyway. It will be used in the future. It is better to build it now. Wagon, wood 22, hemp rope 8. Fortunately, all basic materials are readily available. Put up, triggered by 100-fold increase, successfully made flatbed 101. A flatbed truck appeared, and the skeletons began to consciously load the supplies onto the flatbed truck and tie it tightly with hemp rope. At the same time, Fang Hao also looked at this camp again. I have some ideas in my mind. His advantage is that he has a large number of skeletons, does not need to eat or sleep, and works hard without complaint. After all, the resources near the territory are limited and will be cut down, and here is a good stronghold. When the preparations are done, some of the labor skeletons can be arranged here for collection. Warehouses and dwellings are ready-made and do not need to be built. Thought in mind, all supplies have been loaded. The village gate was simply blocked, and the large army left the kobold camp and returned to their own territory. Because of the relationship between the trolley and the cargo, unable to cross the woods as before, I had to go back along the road, lying on the scooter with the fur behind him. Open the Book of Lords and pass the time. This stone axe, what a fucking piece of shit. The logging is slow, and it shatters after a few cuts. Don't complain, it's the same now. Hurry up and collect more. upgrade the buildings, and exchange some food with Mr. Fang Hao for the rest. It's really bad luck. There is a river near my territory. I made a net and can catch 1 or 2 fish every day. I just went to check it and almost didn't frighten me to death. What's wrong? The net was full of bones. When the net was pulled up, it was all skeletons and bones. Some skeletons were carrying stone axes on their arms, scaring me to death. It's so evil, there won't be a mass grave near you. I don't know. The fish inside was picked out and the bones were buried. I even cut out 2 heads. The fish didn't dare to eat it, so it was sold on the shelves. Upstairs, I bought your fish, and you fucked me. What did I do to you? The fish is fine and alive and kicking. Then why don't you eat it yourself? I'm afraid of poison. I miss your mother, you wait for me. Chapter 10, Building the Bazaar. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Seeing that the two were playing each other interestingly, Fang Hao also paid attention to the person's ID, Zhang Bin. There is a stream near the Kobold camp. In the battle just now, many of his skeletons died, and some of the skeletons were swept away by the stream. It should be Zhang Bin's mouth, the reason for the large number of bones in the fishing net. It can also be proved that the territory of the two is not far away, of course. Even if he didn't bury those bones, after a certain period of time, the bones would disappear automatically. After all, the world is already digitized. The large team returned to the camp in a mighty way. No manual classification is required. All kinds of materials are automatically classified and neatly coded into the corresponding place. Command the skeleton and carry the bed into the Lord's cabin. Fur carpets and fur bedding were sent to the nearby river for cleaning. He opened the manufacturing column and called up the iron axe blueprint he had just obtained. Iron axe, iron 2, wood 2. The demand for iron axes is not high, but iron resources are still relatively scarce resources. Fortunately, I also got some after killing the Doghead camp. In the warehouse, the quantity of iron is 59, enough to make an iron axe. Make it now. Triggered by 100 times increase, successfully made iron axe 808. Triggered by 100 times increase, successfully made 505 stone pickaxes. Labor skeleton. In this battle, there is a certain loss. There are more than 1,400 remaining. For the construction needs of the undead, stone is greater than wood, so he allocates more manpower to quarrying. The original remaining tools, plus the newly crafted stone pickaxe. 900 labor skeletons, assigned to quarrying. 500 were equipped with iron axes and continued to complete the logging work. The remaining iron axes were directly assigned to the skeleton soldiers, replacing the stone axes' weapons. After the number of skeleton soldiers increased, there was no need for so many people to patrol. 200 skeleton soldiers were transferred out and arranged to push flatbed trucks to transport supplies. That way, there's no need for labor skeletons to ship materials back and forth. Save time and improve many productivity. After everything is arranged, all the skeletons do their own work. According to the plan, Fang Hao held up a wooden pole. The freshly washed fur quilt is placed on it. After drying, you can sleep on the bed today. Thinking about it, there is an inexplicable sense of happiness in my heart. Move the thatch out of the Lord's cabin. Angrily thrown into the warehouse. I have a bed, and I don't need your ugly face anymore. Been busy for a while. Fang Hao opened the building page again to view the newly obtained market construction drawings. This thing, market. Do you want to be able to buy and sell things? First class market, 800 for wood, 500 for stone, and 220 for hemp rope. A first-class building. The basic material consumption is not large, all are in basic resources, and there are no bizarre resource requirements. Put up. The light flashed, and a 2-story wooden building appeared in front of him. At the same time, next to the wooden building, a wooden fence surrounded an open space. I didn't wait for Fang Hao to investigate the construction effect. The system prompt sounds again. The construction of the market is completed. Your undead faction influence reaches 200. Whether to accept the caravan of this area, King of Bones, Otis, to enter the market. I see. Between lords, you can rely on the Book of Lords to trade, the same as buying and selling items in the game. No matter how far you are, as long as you trade, you will instantly enter your warehouse. At present, only regional channels have been opened, but it is still very convenient. There are no fees. The appearance of the market is a transaction between the Earth Lord who has passed through and the various local forces, not only to build a bazaar, but also to have influence. Fang Hao was the first to complete the upgrade of the main city, so he rewarded this faction with 200 influence. It just met the requirements for the undead camp caravan to settle in, except there is nothing to consider, since it is a caravan, there should be no danger. You accept the request for the King of Bones, Otis, to enter the caravan, and the countdown to the arrival of the caravan of bones is 11 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Then, in the open space within the fence of the market, a grave suddenly appeared, glowing with pale green light. The sync countdown is shown above. Damn it, do you want to get out? That gives a feeling. This caravan of skeletons did not come here on 2 legs, but to emerge from the grave in front of them. Of course, he was only joking, and there was no psychological burden. After all, he had seen a lot of scenes of skeletons coming out of the graveyard. Not only was he not afraid, but he didn't even have a trace of psychological burden. Ignore the bazaar that counts down on your own. Fang Hao started to prepare dinner, although he got an iron pot from the Kobold camp. Fang Hao had no intention of using it, found in Kobold food waste. These guys also treat humans as food, and there may not be many people in this pot. It's all meat anyway, so he should continue to eat barbecue, still lighting the fire and continuing to make barbecue. At the same time, open the regional channel, to see everyone chatting and pass the time. I've had enough of riding a horse. This stone axe is like a piece of paper, and it shatters in just 2 strokes. Yeah, it's too troublesome to remake it if it's broken. Hey! What's the use of complaining, if you have the strength to chop more wood? Stone tools, different from iron. Iron has high durability and is not easy to damage, while stone tools are like consumables. If 2 or 3 trees are cut, they will shatter and need to be remade. Others don't have Fang Hao's hundredfold increase, and they can only make them one by one, which is very troublesome. Coincidentally at this time, a message is sent. Sell an iron axe for 8 iron, or 50 units of meat. As soon as the news came out, the chat channel completely boiled over. Damn it, you are too dark. 50 units of meat, you are a golden axe. Go grab money. Can't grab money faster than this? A tool for collecting resources. Everyone will have it sooner or later. What are you doing so high? This obviously treats everyone as a big head, and makes it clear that they will cheat everyone in the early stage. Brother, set the price lower. Mass production and more sales. People began to denounce this man. This is indeed the case. Fang Hao also has the blueprint of iron axe. The material is 2 units of iron, and 2 units of wood. The resource requirements are not high. This person needs to exchange 8 units of iron, or 50 units of meat, which is not a small amount. Even if everyone has a great demand for iron axes, no one will take out so much food in exchange. What's more, there are not necessarily a few people who have so much iron and meat reserves. In the face of public criticism, this person is not false at all. Whether you like to buy it or not, if you can't afford it, someone will buy it. You yourself know the level of danger in this world. Every second counts, and the chances of surviving the resource collection are high. Buy it or not, you can decide for yourself. That it's hard to say, but it's true. People die every day exploring the map and finding food. Fortunately, the Lords still have 7 days to protect the world, otherwise more people will die. Therefore, after this person finished speaking, many people kept silent. The scolding has subsided a lot. Just when Fang Hao was watching the fun, the private chat suddenly sounded. Yao Liang, the man who just sold the iron axe. Fang Hao, are you there?